Hi, it's Danny. So this is a video to help you look at different ways that you can revise the 4 adjectives, 4 verbs, 4 nouns and 4 adverbs that you've chosen to take into the exam to help with your creative writing. You should have a sheet with all of your words on. You should understand what they do and what those words mean. So once you've got this ready, you really need to find ways to remember what's on this sheet, so that when you get in the exam you can jot them down really quickly. Let's see how quickly I can write them down. But remember, in the exam or whatever, these are just words for you. You should know them well, so if you don't write them neatly, you should still remember what they are. So I started with my nouns. I went on to my verbs because those were the ones I could remember next. Unique, obscure. You might not even remember them in order, but you just need to have a way of, when you get into the exam, being able to write them down quickly so you don't waste too much time thinking about them. Okay, so I've written them all down. So it took me 41 seconds to write down my words. When you think that the creative writing question is worth 40 marks and should take you about 45 minutes, that's actually not a long time, so I think it's worth doing. And one way I might do it is you get into the exam, you flick straight to the back, you don't read any of the questions or the extract, you go straight to the back to question 5, you write down your words, because what that can do is it gives you something to do at the very beginning of the exam that might relax you a little bit because you're used to doing it, so it feels more normal, and also you won't have to keep them in your brain while you're going through questions 1 to 4 in the reading section. There are lots of different ways to aid your memory in learning these words. So one way is a mind map of words. So what you do with a mind map, I'm sure you know, is you just put in the middle what you are learning. So here it's our words, and then you would put the words around the side. So you might have bleak here, and then you might have forcefully here. What was one of our nouns? Power, down here. Erase. Another verb, revive. Right. The good thing about this is that it's spatial. So when you look at it, it should trigger your memory in 2 ways. One, just because you would write it down over and over again. So you would write it down once, but then say like you've got 5 minutes before dinner, you'd go, right, I'm going to write down my words, forcefully, revive, bleak. And what you can see is that I wrote them down in the same place on both. Because what happens then is that not only do you remember the words from writing it down, but you also remember the words because they're in the same place. So you've got a kind of spatial trigger for your memory as well. With a mind map, you can make it as specific or as open as you want. So for example, I've just done all my words on one big mind map. But what might be better and help you more is you might want to do a mind map for your nouns. And then obviously a different one for your verbs. So I won't write them all down here. What would be good about this is that if you had literally 5 seconds, well, maybe 20 seconds, you could practice one of these. So you might be waiting to be picked up, or you might be at home waiting for your dinner, or you might be watching TV and you could be like, right, I'm going to just take 5 seconds out and I'm going to go nouns, and then I'm going to write my nouns down. You can even make it smaller. So you're like, what does this stand for? Peace, power, dishonesty, competition. So you don't actually have to write them down every time to help your memory remember them. A different revision strategy is bullet points. So, bullet points. You literally do some circles, and then you say, right, so I'm going to do my nouns. So dishonesty, power, peace, competition. And then, as with your mind maps, you can just write these down at times. So you're sitting there, you're like, right, dishonesty, peace, power, competition. And what you can see is that the more you write it, the more you remember it. So it's not just a case of making a mind map or doing some bullet points, sticking it up and remembering it. You have to write it out over and over again if you are not remembering the words. Some people, you remember them more easily. They might only have to do it a couple of times. When I was revising, I always needed to do it over and over and over again. A little bullet point hack is that instead of doing just normal bullet points, you can do numbers. So you could do dishonesty as number 1, you might do peace as number 2, power and competition. And then when you're writing them down, you might be like, right, 1 is dishonesty, hang on, I can't remember number 2, but you leave it. 3 I know is power, so number 2 must be peace. Okay, so the numbers can sometimes be better than just normal bullet points because it triggers your memory a bit better. One other way to revise is you might think better in pictures than you do in words. So for example, if we take our adjective bleak, instead of writing the word down over and over again, you might write the word down and add a picture. So bleak means kind of hopeless and depressing, so you might do a sad face, or you might do I don't know, like a landscape with like nothing in it, might have like one tree. That's also, you know, bleak is kind of like, could be empty, so you've got a kind of emptiness there. So you try and think of different ways to represent it as a picture because it triggers your memory and makes you think about it. So if we do another one, abundant, you know, it means many. So for example, I've got lots and lots of earrings, so I might do that. To show my 4 earrings. You can see I'm not a natural drawer. Or you might do, I don't know, apples, but do many of them. You can draw anything that you want, if you can see what that is. Anything at all that triggers your memory. So if we take unique, you might have lots of people who look the same. And then you might have somebody who stands out. And so that person is unique, and that is a representation in pictures of that word. A really effective other way to revise is by using cue cards. So literally I took a piece of paper and I ripped it up into bits of paper like this. You can buy cue cards that look a bit more professional. You could make them out of card. You could spend a bit of time making them look nice because you are going to use them over and over again. You could even laminate them. So there are different ways that you can revise using cue cards. So for example, you could do the meaning of words. So you could put adverb dramatically on one side, and then drama is added. So that's its definition on the back so that you remember what it means. So one thing about these is that you either want to get someone else to test you, so you give them to them and you ask them to test you, or you test yourself by looking at what's on the front and then seeing if your answer matches up to what's on the back. So another one with a definition and meaning might be the verb revive, and you can see I've written all the information on the card. So the word type, the word itself, so I remember the spelling, and then what it means on the back. So it means bring back to life. A different way is you might just want to remember what the words all are. You could mix and match these, you could do them both, you could do just one. So you put verb on the front and then you say, what is it, what do I need? On the back, all of your verbs. So you have these to carry around and you get them out of yourself and you say, right, verb, erase, revive. I can't remember the rest. So you say erase, revive, conform, corrupt. That's what I need to remember, and you test yourself until you can turn them all over and you know exactly what's on the back of that cue card. So the different ways we've looked at revising are, a mind map, which helps you because you put them in the same space and then it helps trigger your memory through spatial awareness. Or you might do bullet points, which you can either just do as bullet points or you can do as numbered bullet points. We also had a look at drawing. So that reminds you of the meaning of the word and makes you think about it a little bit better. Or we've done cue cards, where you put the question on one side and you put the answer on the other side and you flip them over. So that's 4 different ways to remember these ideas. Good luck!